This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Live. Used to come to courthouse. Yeah. That's correct. I was in bankruptcy court in Midland, probably 15 or 20 years ago. And they had dual pictures. They had 2 TVs there, and the judge was somewhere else. And that was my first experience with this. It was very distracting because I could see myself on the second TV and I could see the judge. And then I would speak and then I would hear myself speak. And it was very distracting. Yeah, that we've come a long way since then. That's the first time I ever did a video hearing. Wasting copies. He must be one of these probates. So, a number of probates are set. So each of those screens should be maybe somebody else. This Rendon will be in our case, and she might be in another.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Somebody can hear me.
Me, Baker.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
All right, Jefferson County Probate Court come to order. First on the docket, if I can find my glasses. Cause number 21 CPR 0109, the state of William Marion Edmonds. Mr. Baker, good morning.
Thank you. Judge, I've got my 3 witnesses here that need to be sworn.
Yeah, anybody that's going to testify, if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand, we'll swear you all in at once.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you may proceed, counsel.
Okay, Judge, I'll start with the applicant, Linda Diane Tunzi, also known as Diane Edmondstunzi, and she was born with the name Edmonds, and I feel for women when they have to keep changing their names for various reasons. Now, I'm gonna call you Diane, okay?
Yes.
All right, now you gotta speak up so they can hear you.
Okay.
Now, you are the applicant to declare and determine the heirship of the estate of William Marion Edmonds Jr., also known as W.M. Edmonds Jr. or Bill Edmonds, right?
That's correct.
And you are his youngest sister,
Correct.
all right? And you live in Chambers County,
Yes.
and your address is, what's your physical address?
4521A West Bay Shore Road, Anahuac, Texas.
And what is your mailing address?
P.O. Box 935, Anahuac, Texas.
All right. Now you stayed in contact with Bill your whole life, right?
Yes.
And wherever he was, you knew where he was.
Yes.
And so if Bill had died with the will, is it likely that you would have known about it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
We had talked about that he was going to work on it, but he had not gotten to that point.
Okay. So Bill died without a will,
Correct.
and he died in Spain. If I pronounce this correctly, Malaga, Spain.
Malaga, Spain.
Or Malaga.
That's right.
Okay. And he died on or about June 3rd, 2021 at the age of 62 years, correct?
Yes.
And we have the certificate of that death as well, right?
Yes.
From the Spanish government.
Yes.
All right. Now, he was a United States citizen living in Spain at the time.
Yes.
All right. Although he grew up in Chambers County, right?
He lived in Chambers County up until he moved to Europe.
Okay. Now, your parents, well, let's make that clear. Your father was William Marion Edmonds, also known as William Marion Edmonds Sr. or Bootsy Edmonds.
Correct.
Okay, and he died before Bill died, right?
Yes.
And your mother was Barbara Edmonds,
Yes.
and that was Bill's mother too,
Yes.
and she died before Bill died.
Correct.
All right. And so how many brothers and sisters did Bill have?
He had two sisters and one brother,
You being one, and who's the other?
Patty McCormick and his other brother, Steve Edmonds.
Okay, and we've listed them correctly in the application, Stephen Richard Edmonds and Patty Marie Cormick, Nee Edmonds, and Nee is the way to say, yeah, that was her maiden name,
Yes.
Edmonds, right?
Yes.
Okay, same as you,
Yes.
all right. And so, all of you are naturally of majority age, and, right?
Yes.
And we have set forth their correct mailing address
Yes.
and residential address in the application,
Yes.
correct?
That's correct.
And then you have, let me see what you have there, have a proof of death and other facts. That it's a 4-page document, correct?
Yes.
And you've read it.
I've read it. It's,
And is everything in there true and correct?
yes, everything's correct.
And do you have personal knowledge of everything in there?
Yes.
All right. And you'll sign that at the end of the hearing. Now, is it true that Bill did not have any children?
Bill did not have any children.
Okay. So he had no children and he had no will. And the only family members, immediate family members he had were his brother and 2 sisters.
That's correct.
Now, at the time Bill died, did he own an interest in real property in Chambers County, Texas?
Yes.
Okay. And that's an undivided interest in about 15 acres.
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. Now, and just for the record, y'all are all of the whole blood. There's no sibling of the half blood, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And Judge, I'm going to ask that you declare that you sign the judgment on the heirship first, and then second on the order on the administration, and I'm going to ask some administration questions now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now, you have also applied to be the independent administrator, or you want to use the the right gender, administratrix of Bill's estate, correct?
Yes,
And your brother and your sister, the only other heirs, have signed a waiver and consent that you do that. And you are qualified to be the administrator because you don't have any felony conviction, correct?
correct,
And you're knowledgeable about Bill's affairs,
yes,
and you're a suitable person.
yes,
And we'll presume you're of sound mind.
yes,
All
at
right,
least today.
at least today. All right, Judge, I have no further questions of this witness.
All right, Mr. Rendon, do you have any questions for this witness?
I just have one because he might have already asked and I missed it, but Ms. Tunz, was your brother ever married?
He was married in Spain, but he was divorced several years ago. I can't remember the exact date.
Okay, so only married one time and there was no children of that marriage?
No children.
Okay, that's all. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, call your next witness, Councilman.
Okay, Judge, may I ask the legates to testify at about the same time? Because I'm asking basically the same question.
You absolutely can.
Mr. Leggett, you're Jesse D. Leggett, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Leggett, you're Jan Leggett, right?
Correct.
And you have in front of you proof of death and other facts, which is, how many pages are those documents?
I believe.
Three. Three.
Three.
Each are 3-page documents, correct?
Correct.
And have you read that document?
Yes.
We have,
One for each of you.
yes.
Is the information in there true?
Yes.
Do you have personal knowledge of the information in there?
Yeah.
I do.
And it establishes that you know Bill Edmonds, that you knew him and you knew the family and you know who the heirs are.
Correct.
All right. So how long did you know Bill Edmonds?
I know him his whole life. I mean,
Since the
I grew up with, yeah.
Since the 1960s.
Yeah, he's a little older than I am, so I knew him since he was in kindergarten.
Since the 1960s.
Correct.
Okay. And you have been residents of Chambers County, if not your whole life, practically your whole life, right?
Correct.
Okay. And did Bill have any children?
No,
Did his parents die before he died?
they did.
Did Bill leave any siblings?
He did, he left.
Brothers
I
and
mean,
sisters?
our brothers, yes.
Mr. Leggett, you have a little hearing problem, right?
I do.
All right. When I shake my head, yes, everything's going fine.
Yes,
Okay.
2 sisters and a brother.
And that'd be Diane, Patty,
Patty
and
and Steve.
Steve, and Steve Richard.
Yeah.
Steve and Richard,
Yeah,
right?
Stephen Richard.
Yeah, throw that. All right, and is it true that Bill was not married, to your knowledge, at the time he died?
He was not married.
And you don't know one thing about a will or another, right?
No.
If you knew about a will, you'd tell us, right? Yeah.
Well, I would.
Okay. Judge, I pass those witnesses.
Yes.
Mr. Leggett, this is Lacey Rendon. You and I talked on the phone. Do you remember our conversations? I'm sorry, did they say yes? I couldn't hear.
Speak up, Jan.
I do.
Okay. And has anything changed in terms of the questions I've asked you? Has any of your answers changed since the last time we spoke regarding marriages or children of the decedent?
Mine have not.
Okay.
No.
And do you have any financial interest in the estate?
I do not.
Mr. Leggett, do you?
No.
Okay. And are you being paid for your testimony today?
No.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, anything else, Mr. Baker?
No, sir, I request that you make the judgment declaring and determining heirship of decedent's estate that we submitted, and then sign the order appointing independent administratrix and authorizing letters of independent administration for the applicant.
All right, Ms. Rendon, you agree with the judgment declaring heirship?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, everybody approve the judgment declaring and determining heirship and the order appointing independent administrators, authorizing letters of independent administration. Thank you all.
Okay, and I'm gonna leave the meeting now, Judge, if that's okay.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good day. Good to see you.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, cause number 131, the state of Brian Jacob Tomlin. Ms. Price, good morning.
There I am. Good morning,
There you
Judge.
And
So
you may
I,
proceed.
thank you, Judge. I'm going to start with Ashley Tomlin. So Ashley, if you'll state your name for the court record, please. You're on mute, but you're on mute. Nope, still on mute. Hold on, Judge.
Here we go.
Did you get it? Okay, good.
There you go.
Okay, so state your name for the court, please.
Ashley Tomlin,
And how are you related to Brian Tomlin?
wife.
Okay. And did Brian Tomlin die on August the 8th, 2021 at the age of 42?
Yes,
And Brian y'all have property here in Chambers County, is that correct?
yes,
And he was married one time and one time only to you, is that correct?
yes,
And y'all have 3 children, correct?
yes.
And what are their ages?
12, 10, and 9.
Okay. And did Mr. Tomlin ever bring in any other child into the home and say, this is my child?
No,
And did he ever adopt any other child?
no,
And you are then the sole beneficiary along with your children, but as far as the separate property, but in community property, you are the sole beneficiary, correct?
yes.
I'll pass this witness, Judge.
Yes.
Hi, Ms. Tomlin. My name's Lacey Rendon. Just add a quick question on there. Did the decedent have a will?
No,
Did you do a diligent search around the house for a will?
no,
Did he ever mention making a will or hire an attorney that you know of to make a will?
no.
Would he have told you if he had a will?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay.
Are you
So-
next witness, ma'am?
Thank you, Judge. I'll call Kayla. Kayla, if you'll state your name for the court record, please.
Kayla Buckner,
And Kayla, how long did you know Brian and Ashley?
9 years.
9 years. And so you would know if he had any other marriage or any other children, correct?
Yes,
And so to your knowledge, there was only one marriage and there was only the 3 children, correct?
correct.
And those children were of this marriage with Ashley, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did y'all ever talk about, or even in casual passing, that he had a will or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And do you know if he ever brought any other children into the marriage and said, this is my child? Never showed you a picture of anybody else's child saying, this is my child?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I pass this witness, Judge.
Yes.
And Ms. Buckner, just a couple extra questions. Do you have a financial interest in this estate?
No, ma'am.
And are you being paid for your testimony today?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Buckner. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Price.
Thank you, Judge. The next witness I call is actually Diane Tomlin. This is actually the decedent's mother. So Ms. Tomlin, if you'll state your name for the court, please.
Diane Tomlin.
And Ms. Tomlin, first of all, we are very sorry for the loss of your son. I know that's
We are.
tough.
Yeah, you
So you have pretty good knowledge of your son, correct?
Yes,
And is this the only marriage between your son and Ashley? It's just this marriage, correct?
yes,
And there was 3 grandchildren, correct?
yes,
And only these 3 grandchildren are his children, correct?
that's correct.
And he never brought another child and say, hey, I had this child.
No,
And did you ever have an opportunity to talk to your son about having a will?
no,
And so to your knowledge, he never had one, never even found one or anything like that, correct?
no,
Okay. Pass this witness, Judge.
Yes.
2 questions for you. Do you have a financial interest in this estate?
no,
Okay. And are you being paid for your testimony today, ma'am?
no.
Okay. Thank you. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Price, anything else from the judge?
Yes, that was for the airship, Judge. I'd like to do the independent administration now, if you please. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and approve the judgment declaring airship, and then you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Tomlin, is there a necessity for administration of this estate?
Yes,
And you're asking the court, is there any reason why you cannot be an independent administrator? you don't have a felony conviction or anything like that?
No.
Well, certainly not working at the school. So if you're asking the court today to be named the independent administrator for Brian's estate,
Yes, ma'am.
that's all I have, Judge.
All right, I hereby order authorizing letters of independent administration. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank you, Your
Judge.
Honor.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Yes, ma'am.
You too.
All right, calls number 137, the state of Anthony Joseph Tracanelli. Scott,
Yes, Judge.
there you are.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. You may.
Very good. I'm going to testify, Judge, and I have been sworn.
Yes.
See, you might help me out here or something. Handle that title real quick. We're trying to sell Brian's vehicle.
Yeah, you could do that. next
Okay.
one.
And
Should I talk over him, Judge?
Twin Cities Pontiac people.
Miss Price, will you mute?
offered her
You can hear me,
$4,000
Cindy?
for it,
Okay.
And they needed.
Go ahead.
a driver's license.
Okay.
And on the title.
Anthony Joseph Tracanelli died
You can't
on
do that
September
next
3rd,
door until she
2021 in
gets the
Baytown,
letter
Harris
of
County,
the
Texas, at the age of
I'll get
52
that sometime
years.
this afternoon.
4 years
And
and
on the
none
back,
life
she'll
since his
sign it
death.
as
He had a
Ashley
fixed
Tomlin,
place of residence in
administrator.
Chambers County
And
at
that's
the
what
time
they'll
of his
require
death.
in that order approving. you.
This will,
That's all they'll need.
which I have a copy
They'll
of in
file
my
it.
file,
They
which the
usually
court
see it.
has the original, it's filed, would ask you take judicial knowledge of it, was never revoked so far as I know. There is a necessity for the administration of the estate. The will was self-proven. There's no state, governmental agency, or charitable organization named in the will as a devotee, and there is no child or children born to or adopted by him after the date of the will. No marriage was dissolved after the date the will was made. His will named his wife, Maria Maldonado Tracanelli, to serve as independent executors and to serve without bond or security. Judge, it's a small estate. We'd ask that the appraisers be waived, and his wife is qualified and not disqualified to serve. We'd ask that she be appointed and that appraisers be waived.
Go down. And I texted Miss Price. I guess she hasn't got it yet, but the noise level has gone down. Thank you,
I'm
guys.
sorry, my fault.
That's all right. That other computer needs muted, Cindy.
Well, I do so, Judge.
All right. All right. Thank you, Counselor. Calls number 140, the state of Joyce. Yellett? Yellison? There's Miss Price.
I'm coming.
Okay,
Sorry, Judge.
not a problem.
You're faster than me.
You
So
may
which one?
proceed.
Which one?
Yellison?
Oh, Joyce Sons?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I'm going to be the testifier today.
Okay.
Joyce Yellett Sons died on April 27th, 2021, Baytown, Harris County at the age of 76. 4 years have not elapsed since the date of her death. This court has jurisdiction and venue over the estate because the decedent was domiciled and had a fixed place of residence here in Chambers County at her death. To the best of my knowledge, the decedent died testate with her will and was signed December 5th, 2018. Citation has been served and returned in the manner and the length of time that's required by the Estates Code. Necessity exists for the administration of this estate. The decedent's will was self-proven, and to the best of my knowledge, the will was filed, was never revoked by Ms. Sons. No state or governmental agency nor charitable organization. It was named as a heir, and after the date of this will, no child was born or adopted by the decedent. No marriage of the decedent was ever dissolved after the date of this will, and she named Chad Mark Pregene as independent executor, who will be duly filing his oath today, and he can serve without bond, and we ask that the appraisers be waived, Judge.
Hold on. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you.
All right. Calls number 141, state of Robert Paul Lustig.
Yes, Judge. Back again.
Yes, sir. You may proceed.
Thank you. Robert Paul Lustig died October 7th, 2021 in Baytown, Chambers County at the age of 72 years. He had a fixed place of residence in Chambers County at the time of his death, and he died leaving the will, which I'm looking at now. And Judge, you have the original in your file. We'd ask you take judicial notice that it is the original. And there is a necessity for the administration of this estate. The will was self-proved, and it was never revoked so far as I know. There's no state, governmental agency, or charitable organization naming the will as the devisee. And after the date the will was made, there was no children born to or adopted by the decedent, and no marriage was ever dissolved after the will was made. His will named Thomas Lustig to serve as the independent executor. Thomas is qualified and not disqualified. Judge, we'd ask that he be appointed and that appraisers be waived, as this is a non-taxable estate.
Go down. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Judge. I'm done. May I be excused?
You may be. All right, cause number 143, the state of Avis, Yvonne Irby.
That's us, Judge. I've got Tony
Terry.
and
Tony.
Terry.
I can't see Tony, but
He's on mute too. Terry,
yeah,
you're
Tony,
up.
you're muted. Terry, you're muted. There you go.
I'm here.
There's Tony.
Tony, you're still muted.
Here I am.
There you are.
Good.
All right, you
All
may
right,
proceed, Council.
Thank you, Judge. Tony, I'm going to start with you. If you'll state your name for the court, please.
Tony Edward Irby.
And how are you related to the decedent?
Her son.
Okay. And Miss Irby died August the 20th here in 2021 here in Chambers County, and she was 78. Is that correct?
Yes.
And 4 years, of course, have not elapsed since the date of her death.
No.
And to the best of your knowledge, the will that's introduced here today, and that is an originally signed will that was submitted to the court dated October 7th, 1985. She never revoked that will, correct?
Correct.
And she actually named you, your dad first as the executor, and he has already passed away. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she named you as the successor independent executor, correct?
Yes.
But you're asking the court today to waive your right to, as independent, and actually name both you and your sister as independent co-executors, correct?
Correct.
And you have signed that waiver, which we'll be filing today with the court, correct?
Correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, the will was never revoked?
Correct.
And the only marriage that she had was to your dad, Buddy, or Mr. Irby, I'm sorry, Wilfred Edward Irby. I'm still used to calling him Buddy.
Buddy.
Correct.
Correct.
And you are qualified, not disqualified to serve. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'll pass this witness, Judge.
No questions. Call your next witness, Council.
Thank you, Judge. Terry, if you'll state your name for the court, please.
Terry Irby Timms.
And Terry, you've heard all of the testimony today from your brother Tony, and you agree with the statements that he made?
Correct.
And you are also qualified, not disqualified to serve as independent co-executor for your mom's estate?
Correct.
That's all I have, Judge. You're asking, wait, one more question. You're asking the court today to admit the will and to name both you and your brother as independent co-executors?
Correct.
To serve without bond and waive the appraisers, is that correct?
Correct.
That's all I have, Judge.
Everybody admits the will to probate and authorized letters.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
That was sweet.
Are
sweet
we
lady.
excused, Judge?
Thank you.
Are we excused?
You're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Judge.
night. All right, call number 145, the state of Billy Mae Foster. Morning, Ms. Clapper. You're muted, Georgia.
All right, can you hear us now?
Jan.
Good. Morning, Judge. Would you state your name for the court, please?
Ricky Jack Cravey.
And Mr. Cravey, are you the nephew of Billy Mae Foster?
Yes, ma'am.
And was Billy Mae a resident of Chambers County for 90 days and at least the state of Texas for 6 months before her death on September 17th of 21?
Yes.
She died
yes,
at the age of 96.
Yes.
And you know that she has property in Chambers County. You found her will.
Yes.
Brought it to me. We have presented it to the court. The original of that will is before the court.
Yes.
You're named as the independent executor to serve without bond in the will.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
willing to do that.
Yes.
Now, your aunt was married one time and one time only in her lifetime to, what was the name of her husband?
Elmer Hugh Foster.
And he died September 4th of 2014.
Yes, yes.
Did she marry after that time?
No, no, ma'am.
During her lifetime, at any time, did she ever have a child or adopt a child or take a child into her home to raise that child as a son or daughter?
No,
So she had no children at all?
no children.
The will was signed on April the 4th of 2019. You were present at the time that she signed her will?
Yes, I was there.
All right, and there was a notary. If you go to that last page, what's the name of the notary?
Sharon Ross.
And there's two witnesses to the signature of your aunt. And
Yes,
what are
ma'am.
their names?
Miss Lorenza Kirkwood and Annie Dale Lulu.
And do you know both witnesses?
I do.
All right, and look at Billy Mae Foster's signature. You're familiar with her signature?
Yes, ma'am.
You took care of her for how many years right before her death?
Yes, ma'am. 3 or 4.
3 or
Yes.
4 years. She lived in your home.
Yes, she did.
All right, and that is indeed her signature.
Yes.
Did at any time after 2019, when she signed it in April, did she ever revoke that will? Did she ever say to you, I don't want to do what I signed?
No, ma'am, she didn't.
So to your knowledge, that is the only will
It is.
of Billy Mae Foster. In fact, she lived with you. She'd have told you everything she wanted you to know, wouldn't she have?
And some things I didn't want to know. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Does the will name any charitable organization or governmental agency as a beneficiary?
No, ma'am.
And is there any Medicaid Recovery Act applicable to this estate?
No, no.
All right. Now there's 3 people named. You're the nephew, right?
I'm her nephew.
But the
Yes, ma'am.
beneficiaries that she has named is Jackie Sue Fox,
Yes,
Karen Jean Cravey,
yes.
and your wife. That is your wife.
That's my wife.
And Kathy Foster McDevitt.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now each of those has signed a waiver of appearance. They've agreed to obviously the will to be admitted to probate and for you to be the independent executor, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So Judge, I'd offer those 3 waivers into evidence to show that every beneficiary has been notified and they agree to this will being approved. Now you have no impediment to you taking the oath and serving as an independent executor without a bond, is there?
No.
You're well qualified to do that and there's no problem. Obviously, 4 years has not passed since her death this past September. And you're asking the court to approve this application and to admit the will to probate, grant you letters testamentary without the necessity of a bond or appraisers, because you know what's in the estate
Yes.
and none of it needs to be appraised.
No, ma'am.
All right, that's all, Judge.
Thank you, Counselor. Hereby admits will to probate and authorized letter.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, last but not least, cause number 148, state of Julian Thomas Harrington Jr.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, I'll be testifying. Judge, my name is Roy Fuller. I'm well acquainted with the decedent Julia Thomas Harrington Jr. He died on September the 28th, 2021 in Harris County, Texas. He was 81 years of age. 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death. At the time of his death, he was domiciled and a resident in Chambers County. The original will is dated February the 15th, 2013, which has been filed with the court, and it asks the court to take judicial notice of the will that's been filed.
Okay.
To my knowledge, that will was never revoked. There were no children born or adopted after the execution of the will. The decedent did not have a marriage that was dissolved after the execution of the will. The will names the surviving spouse, Charlene D. Harrington, to serve as independent executor, and there's no reason why she would be disqualified from serving. The will does not name the state, governmental agency of the state, or a charitable organization as a devisee. There is a need for administration of the estate. It's a non-taxable estate. Would ask the court to waive the appraisers and admit the will to probate.
Hold on. Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you, Judge.
So we're not doing Harmson today? No.
What did you ask, Judge?
I had Harmson on one of these.
Okay, no, that one's got rescheduled.
Okay. Sounds good then. We're adjourned. Thank you, lady.
Thank you.